When we finally got down to something which the individual says he really wants to do, I will say to him, you do that. Better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way.
Hey!
How's it going, guys? A quick announcement before we get into the video, and it's about me unlisting my previous videos on this channel. One of the comments that I received on my last video made me reconsider my decision about unlisting all of them. So I went back to my video playlist and I've picked, I believe, 12 videos that I could still have on my channels that are related to graffiti tutorials and to some art supply reviews. And I went through those comments on my videos, and I've picked a couple of them that could still be helpful for you guys, that are not as cringy as the other old videos, and that are not some questionable content that should or should not be on my channel. So after some thinking, I've decided that it would be unfair to you guys to completely remove all of the content that you have signed up for. So I brought back 12 videos, some, like I said, about graffiti lessons and some about art supplies. So you can go under the playlists on my channel and you can find 2 playlists that I've created, and you can rewatch those if you're interested. And thank you guys for all of the advices that you gave me on my last video. I'm really grateful for those, and yeah, that's gonna be it for now, and let's get into the video. Today's topic is gonna be about my art journey as a whole, and I'll try to keep it as short as possible because my art journey is mostly my whole life since I can remember. And I would like to say thank you to Hannah J100 for asking this question in a previous video, and that's a great topic that I probably wouldn't think about doing myself, so yeah, thank you. And well, where can I start? Like I said, I've drawn for my whole life, during my whole life, and I would say the first let's say recognition I got for my artistic skills was in kindergarten. And the way that I'm explaining this to myself is the reason why I stick to art is because I was let's say praised about my drawing skills as a kid, even though I don't think I've drawn any better than the other kids, but I have never got any praise for maybe playing some sports, singing, dancing, playing instruments or whatever. And as a kid, as all of us like to be like praised or getting any kind of dopamine from our parents and our surroundings, I think that's the way that I explain it to myself. I was encouraged to do more art in a way that I would get, like I said, praised. So that's what I did for most of my life. Even in the elementary school, other kids would like be amazed with my shitty artwork. Not because it was good, but it was slightly better than the other kids, because I spent more time drawing as a younger child, while others were playing soccer or basketball or whatever. So that was kind of my thing, and I was always known for that. I was the guy that draws. And during my elementary school, and especially during my middle school, that was like I said, my thing. And that kind of placed me in a society. Actually, I found my place in a society as a guy that draws. And I would say next big step for me was in the middle school. Well, I think that's called a high school. Yeah, in a high school. Because I tried to go to the art school, but I wasn't accepted. Not because my drawing skills were bad, but because I was not a well-behaved kid. So yeah, I didn't make the grade to go to the art school. So I've decided to join like a mechanic school just because I had a friend that went there, not because I was interested in anything about cars or a body mechanic or whatever. So I went to that kind of school, which turned out to be the best thing for me because I was the only guy that was drawing. So if I would go to art school, I would be one of the others, and here I stood up from the other kids, which counselor of the school and president of the school kind of noticed. Well, they didn't notice that, but they've noticed that I was a rebel, and I wouldn't say that I didn't respect authority, but I didn't respect authority without any, let's call it a background or a proof that you can have authority. Well, I was just a little bit. Well, I was just a rebel and I was a teenager, and that all goes together. And I would run away from school and I would run away from class. And even if I was in the class, I would draw. I wouldn't pay attention to the class or to my lessons. Even though I was like above average student, I just wasn't paying attention because I was not interested. And a lot of this stuff accumulated throughout years, and I had enough uh, hours of class missed out that there was a high chance of me being kicked out of school. And me and my counselor and I got in an let's say what it's called compromise about me not leaving the school physically, but I could leave a class that I'm not interested in, but I wouldn't be allowed to exit the school building. Instead, I would get my own uh, classroom that had a key, and I got that key. And in that classroom, we had two computers and that had connection to the internet, and we had all kind of art supplies for making panels in the school, which were just laying there, and even some spray paint and so on. So I had to sit in that room, and I've decided to start creating stuff with supplies they had. And counselor recognized that. Well, she saw what I was making, so she gave me a whole hallway in a school that I could just go and draw on if I'm interested in. So I said, of course, yeah. And I took the spray paints and I started doing graffiti all around my school, which was kind of not usual thing for a kid to do. And the other school kids noticed that, and I got, like, let's call it some kind of fame for being the only guy that was allowed by the school to vandalize it. Even more, they were, if I would have a project that I would like to work on, or maybe I would like to do some piece on a wall, I would have to present that to the counselor. And if she agreed to that, I would go to the shop and I would make like a pre-order of art supplies that I would need, of all of the what it's called, well, the spray paints or whatever. And I would go back with that pre-order to my school, and when the school approves it and they would pay for it, I would just go and pick them up. So I would even get supplies paid by the school just for me to, I don't know, draw around. So that was like one of the biggest first steps in my art journey, which I'm really, really, really grateful for. So it turned out for me that that was the better option than going to art school. Well, what happened after that? I believe after that, well, there was my art journey was on and off for a while. So I would manically draw and paint for let's say couple of months, and then I would take a break for at least 6 months, and it was on and off. And I would say the next step was after I went to Canada. I believe I was 21 years old at the time. So I moved to Canada and I started seeing the differences in prices, or about, or, well, in prices in general, but especially when it comes to art supplies. And by my hourly wage, I could buy more art supplies in Canada than for my, let's say, 2 days of work here in Croatia. So it was practically free for me to start drawing and painting again. So I decided to, since everything is so cheap, it would be a shame for me not to uh, start making some paintings now when I have a chance. And I didn't have any friends or family in Canada, so that was like the perfect way for me to to occupy my time. So I did that for a while, and I opened my first YouTube channel, art related YouTube channel. I believe it was 2014 or 2015. uh, and I made one video about graffiti tutorials, of course, and it received almost 2 million views. And well, you can still Google it if you're interested. It's called Paint and Draw Tutorial, and it's quite funny because immediately as I made the channel, I stopped working on it and I forgot my password and username, and I can't access it. I don't have access to it anymore because it was registered on my old Canadian phone number, which I don't have anymore. So that channel is bye bye. So I created this one after that one. But let's go back to Canada part again. So as I said, I was making a lot of paintings which accumulated, and I had my own like art room uh, that I was creating those. So they got quite accumulated, and I had, I would say, like 50 to 70 paintings laying around. Well, let's say 50. And I started selling those to random people in Canada, and I made my first sale as an artist back in Canada, which was kind of not the next step, well, maybe next step, but it made me realize that there are people willing to buy my stuff. So I started selling more and more, and I had like, I would say, a one sale per week, in general, which was not much, but it was a big motivation for me to continue painting. At least I was covering up my expenses for supplies and so on. So it was like a bright side for me to like a bright, let's say, a bright spot in my career that made me realize, this could be something. I could maybe turn this into a living one day, which I did. And that was like the next step. After that I moved in Norway, and that was, I believe, the biggest step for my channel, the one that you're looking at right now, because again, I started a YouTube channel because I was inspired by my old YouTube channel, which I couldn't access anymore, and I had once more a lot of free time and even more money that I could invest in art supplies. So I said, well, heck, well, why the fuck not? Even I could even, practice my English skills, and here we are today. I guess that's like the biggest step for my YouTube channel. Now, when it comes to my art journey on my YouTube channel, well, like I said, it was quite a lot of different content, and some of you old subscribers will remember different challenges, different tutorials, different vlogs that were not related to art in general. So I would share quite a lot of things on that channel because I was trying out the platform, and I wanted to see what will stick and what kind of things people are interested in. So I've built my YouTube channel around tutorials and art supplies, and after a couple of years in Norway, I came back to Croatia because I had a rough time living there after a divorce that I went through, and even these kind of videos were on my channel that was really, well, I really don't know why I even uploaded them. So I've came back to Croatia and I took a huge break for when it comes to my art journey, because I had to resettle back in my home country and find a job and this and that. And after a year, about a year back in Croatia, I just had enough of working different kind of jobs when it comes to car mechanics or body, what it's called, auto body reparations, even car paintings, and I was done, well, not with the job but with the people around me, and I wanted to just finally go all in on my art career, because now I had a family that was supporting me and my friends that were supporting me, so I decided to invest all of my money in tattoo supplies. I got my tattoo apprenticeship, and I made even some art exhibitions with my paintings and so on. So last year and a half I'm living only from my art, which is my dream come true. And I've during that time I have stopped creating content for YouTube, because my focus was my energy was focused on surviving as a tattoo artist. And here we are today. Corona virus started, and my art career is let's say it's waiting. Well, I'm waiting for this thing to pass so I can continue working on that. So that's the next step in an evolution of my YouTube channel, which will be, let's say, integrated in my tattoo career and my art career in general again. So yeah, that's the shortest I could. So if there is any advice that I would like to give is it's all about the journey. Well, it's about the journey and it's about the end point, but the end point for me and for most of people is really vague, and we don't know how life is gonna turn out to be. So I would say it's maybe more about the journey and enjoying the process of you growing and embracing the unknown. So who knows what fate has in store for you or for me. And yeah, just stay consistent in pursuing your own dreams, and I guess good things must happen someday. Well, that's gonna be it for this video. This video is a little bit longer, but hey, if you have some questions or you have some ideas for the next videos, just write them down in the comments. I'm reading all of those and I'm considering all of those, because this time around I'm trying to make this channel more interactive with you guys. And yeah, that's it. I'm done with talking today, and have a nice one till the next time. Bye.